Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Good Old Hockey Podcast. My name's Sean. I'm alongside Galli, David Galli. Um, got another episode for you guys today. I know last week we did our little bit of a breakdown, of what our preseason predictions look like to know what they are today. So we're gonna kind of follow that theme and look at the award predictions we gave, um, and just kind of look at how those are looking right now at the halfway point. um, and talk about some of the news. But before we get into that, Galli, how was your week since the last time I talked to you?
Been good, man. Had a hockey game on Sunday. We had like 3 people on the bench. It was fucking brutal. The other team had like
Mm.
9 or 10. Typical beer league shit, but we
Yeah.
we we ended up tying. We should have won, but the other team scored with like 30 seconds left. It was brutal. Of course, this team fucking like sellies so hard for beer league, which I mean, no disrespect,
Yeah.
but this sort of league I'm in, like no one
Also,
fucking sellies. So it's kind of out of the ordinary.
yeah.
But shit, man, besides that, I had a pretty good weekend. I went out on Saturday night to downtown Meridian, and it was the most wild I've ever seen downtown Meridian.
Really?
So for the listeners out there, I live in Meridian, not Boise exactly. Yeah, supposedly someone pulled a gun there. There was like 10 cops. We saw a chick fight inside of the bar.
Oh my god.
And we were like kind of bar hopping, and one of the in the alleyway, there was this random girl with no shoes on and was like clueless, didn't know where she was. It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen at a bar.
Yeah.
But that kind of made my whole damn weekend was that one night. Dude.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty chill besides that.
Nice.
How's your weekend though, man?
I was pretty good. I had Libby come to town. Um, she was visiting with her mom. It was her mom's birthday, so that was actually a lot of fun. We went downtown with, I think it was like 10 moms. We went
Damn.
on Thursday and then downtown Friday. It was a lot of fun. They're all, I mean, they're, 40s, 50s. Or sorry, ladies, you guys are probably in your 30s, but, no. But they was yeah, it was a lot of fun to be downtown and, um, yeah, it was a good time, but it was an expensive weekend. It was tough, but it was a good time. I had fun. Um
Yeah, I had an expensive weekend because divisional playoffs didn't do too good for me
Oh,
in terms of betting. So
yeah.
I owed my bookie a little bit of money because those fucking teams really screwed me over. But
Who screws you over?
dude, I'm trying to think the worst. I mean, I basically bet on every fucking game this weekend.
Yeah.
Um, to be honest, I put it in the past. It's behind me. I don't fucking remember it.
That's good.
I'm gonna
Hey, you gotta
I'm
have
gonna have to
short-term.
I'm gonna have to look at this right now.
Yeah.
Because I actually am curious. The Bills, I remember, fucked me over. I had
Yeah.
Bills money line. I had Bills spread. They fucking choked. I can't believe that. I did make money on the Lions though. So that was definitely nice. But Saturday's games, they would load for me.
It was a good I don't know, I thought it was a good weekend of football. A lot of those games were good. Chiefs and Bills game, I feel really bad for the Bills. They just can't get past the Chiefs. I don't know what it is. It's like their kryptonite.
I
I feel
know. I
really
can't
bad for
believe they're
Josh Allen. Kicker
Tyler
blew it,
Bass
which
too.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never kicked a field goal in a football game, let alone in the NFL in the playoffs when you're literally like a game tying kick. I'm sure it can be very stressful. Um, so part of it, I'm like, man, I feel bad for that guy. But also, like, you're a kicker, dude. That's your job. That is your job to be the clutch moments. Like, how many times have we seen a football game come so close and it's because of a kicker missed a kicker? Like, I feel like there's always those kickers, they always ruin it for people.
Yeah, I mean, dude, kicking is hard. I will
It
say
is.
that. And
Yeah.
when it like do like 20, 30-yard field goals, it's kind of like, what the fuck if they miss it? But
Yeah.
when it's like
Yeah.
40
40?
plus, even
Yeah.
40 plus, I
Yep.
mean, the NFL should be makeable, but still, when you're,
It's still
under a
tough.
lot of pressure and
Yeah.
especially in a playoff game, I mean, there's going to be
Yeah.
shanks and whatnot. And sometimes they drill it. The thing is like a lot of kickers will win games and no one really remembers those
No.
wins unless it's like
No.
Vinatieri in the Super Bowl or
Yeah, that is
um,
true.
but there's a lot of instances like that. It's just everyone remembers the painful, stinging losses because of these kickers,
Mhm. Yeah,
um, death threats and shit. Like, holy
yeah.
fuck! I mean, being a kicker is, you know, if you look at it, it's a pretty easy job in terms of the other like players on the field.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, you just got to kick it through the uprights. You
Yeah.
know, you're not having
In
to make any
theory, it
tackles or
seems
catches or
yeah.
throwing, but
Oh, wait,
like,
I'm totally missing something. I forgot that kick was tipped by one of the defensive linemen.
oh really?
Yeah, because we looked at it and I was like, "How did he mi" was it that game? I'm trying to
I don't,
remember. Oh, no,
I
that
don't
was the
think it was tipped.
Niners-Packers. That was Niners-Packers, never mind. Because the Packers lost pretty much on a missed kick, but it was because one of the Niners deflected it,
Yeah,
that's right. I was
I
thinking that
was
wrong, but
I was
still,
rooting I was
being a
rooting for the
kicker
Packers to win.
yeah. Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wanted to see him knock off, like, kind of
the
the
best team.
best team in the
Yeah,
league
yeah,
this year, but, I mean,
mhm,
dude, yeah, kicking is just you gotta be
yeah,
clutch. You gotta have that clutch gene. I mean, I feel
that
like
too.
there's certain kickers that have that.
Yeah,
Justin Tucker, Gostowski, Janikowski, um, I mean, just to name a few, and, of course, I couldn't miss my boy Vinatieri, who's won 2 Super Bowls for the Patriots. Maybe I think he won another one with the Colts with his kicking too.
yeah,
But, yeah, no, kicking it's underlooked too because it's like the
yeah.
highest scoring players in NFL history are kickers, which
Oh,
is
yeah, I
kind of
bet.
wild.
Yeah,
Because I mean, they just rack up points throughout their whole
yeah,
career.
mhm.
Fucking
Slowly but
Vinatieri
surely,
played
yeah.
till he was like 50, I wanna say.
That too. Yeah,
Like,
they play till they're, like, 50 years old, so of course they're gonna
yeah.
have yeah, but enough football talk. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
for
though
real.
yeah, this is a hockey podcast, I forgot. But we got some honestly, so what was it? I think this news about Patrick Waugh broke pretty early in the week, and even on, like, Saturday, Sunday, I was, like, thinking to myself, I'm like, "Man, there's no real news." I guess it was, like, Friday, I was like, "Damn, there really hasn't been a whole lot this week in terms of news, like, I wonder what we're gonna talk about," and then we get what we got. Patrick Waugh,
Yeah.
um, first off, great goalie, one of the best of all time, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah, but yeah, Lane Lambert was fired after a winning record, which I don't know. What do you think of that move to fire him? Like, what do you think happened?
I mean, TBDs because it's just such fresh news, but with how the Islanders need a spark, I think Patrick
Yeah,
Waugh is that sort of head coach and just personality, like, he's able to give that to any team, whether
yeah,
it's the fucking Islanders. I mean, I remember when he coached the Avalanche. When he coached the Avalanche they weren't very good for like, a while before that, and
yeah,
he kinda came in and tried some new things out, and, I mean, I remember he's pulling the goalie with, like, 4 or 5 minutes left, and that was, like, the most bizarre thing, but, I mean, he did create a lot of success at Colorado,
yeah,
um, and I think that it was kind of a more of a long-term move. I don't think the Islanders are really in a position to make, like, a deep playoff run or, um, be very, very good and
yeah,
outstanding this year. I mean, they could totally prove me wrong with the second half of the season, but I think it was kind of more of a long-term move in terms of just, like, down the road. So, next year, next couple years, 3, however many, and,
yeah,
um, I do think that he's gonna provide that spark that the team kinda needs to get out of, like, a low-scoring, non-energetic team. I mean, I know you said it, like, a couple podcasts ago, like, the
yeah.
Islanders are fucking boring to
They're
watch,
boring to
which
watch, and I hope,
yeah.
like, I mean, they're a good team. I don't think that they're a bad team. Obviously, 2015 and 11 is not a bad record to have in the
Yeah.
NHL. So yeah, I'm hoping he brings some sort of spark, and I think yeah, that's a good point. Just saying that that's maybe what they needed was just a coaching change, because regular season success, I mean, you need something extra for the playoffs. You need an extra push. You can't just be a good team. You have to be a great team and a
Mhm.
consistent team. And we'll see. Um, I mean, yeah, Patrick Waugh is famous as a coach for just being electric, passionate, and just crazy. Really, he's a
Dude,
goalie, so it makes sense.
yes, same with, like, as a player too. I mean, as a coach, I
Yeah,
mean, I just think it's kind of his personality is just kind of
it is. Yeah,
fireworks and it's flashy. I feel like
Mhm.
the Islanders are always overshined by the Rangers in New York
That
and
too. Yeah.
all sorts of other big powerhouses on the East Coast. And I feel like with him being a coach, it's going to bring a lot more attention to the Islanders. But I also think that players are going to want to be playing for him. I know Varlamov was like so stoked when they signed Wah,
Mhm.
but I still think it's kind of interesting though, from like the upper management perspective to just let go of Lane Lambert like that after he's
Yeah.
hasn't had the worst season with what he's been given. But yeah, I think they're just looking long term for this. I mean, I don't necessarily think they're like in a contender mode at the moment. I
Yeah.
mean, they're near contender with the roster they have, but um, I don't think it was necessarily like we're a contender. We just need a coaching switch up. It was kind of more of a long term thing.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, their division's stacked, man, and
It is. Yeah.
it's there's a lot of movement that could happen though. I mean, if they sneak
Yeah.
into the playoffs, who knows?
Yeah. Well, that is true. Cool. Another all right. Moving on to our next topic. Um, Someone we've talked about in the past, someone I thought was not gonna have a second chance at life in the NHL. But Corey Perry has signed with the Edmonton Oilers as of I want to say Monday morning. It was official. I think it came out like Saturday night or Sunday, whatever. Um, but yeah, I saw him practice, and I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I call that. I think when
Yeah,
that whole
yeah,
incident happened with the Blackhawks,
yeah,
I was like, the Oilers are a team that could definitely
yeah,
sign them, scoop them up.
mhm.
And I think I like before I said that, like they signed Evander Kane after that whole incident happened with him a few
Yeah. That
years
is true.
back, and
Second
Corey
chance
Perry,
team.
another
Yeah,
bad apple too. So
yeah,
they're experienced with getting these bad apples and
yeah.
kind of giving them a place
Using them.
to
Yeah,
be. Not saying Evander Kane or um,
yeah,
Corey Perry are bad people, but
yeah,
in terms of the NHL, there was some controversy with what they did, especially with Corey
yeah,
Perry. Holy shit, that
yeah.
one was
And we also
pretty
don't.
crazy.
We still don't know what happened. I did see though John Scott, he has a podcast called Dropping the Gloves, I think, which I wanted to
Hmm.
call ours, or I had like an idea like, oh, Dropping the Gloves sounds good. And then I looked it up. John Scott has a podcast, and I was like, we're not going to overshadow that at all. But I want to say he works within the Chicago Blackhawks or something like that. Again, I don't know if this is completely factual, but there are reports that he was trying to make advances on a employee of the Chicago Blackhawks and like sexual advances on a female. Um, so that's kind of what I thought. Like,
Interesting.
I don't know. I didn't really think the whole Betsy's mom thing was true. Um, Especially when they
Yeah.
dispelled that pretty quick. I thought it was kind of funny in the moment, but on a serious note though, like, yeah, I think he had also said that the last 2 months he's received great help and treatment. So I'm glad that he's gotten that and able to continue to play hockey because he has a lot of experience in the playoffs, which I think the Oilers need desperately.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is the final like infinity stone for Connor McDavid, but he's had they still need goaltending like really bad. But
Yeah.
season's not trade deadline's not here yet, so who knows? Could change. Um,
Yeah.
but
And
he's gone to the
fuck.
finals. What?
Yeah. I mean, he's gone to the finals a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he went 3 years in a row
Yep.
recently with,
Mhm.
Dallas 2020, Montreal 2021, and Tampa
Yeah.
2022. But also, I mean, don't forget about when he went to the finals with the Ducks back in the
That too.
2000s too. So, and won with the Ducks too. So,
He did.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's got that playoff experience, the Stanley Cup winning experience. He's
Mhm.
a pest. He's
He is.
something I think the Oilers are really going to benefit off of.
Yeah.
It disappoints me in a way to see that he is on the Oilers because I'm
Yeah.
a big Flames fan. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the Oilers are in a good position right now. I mean, they're third in the Pacific. They're only sitting 9 points back behind the Golden Knights for second.
Mhm.
So they could really tighten that gap between
Yeah.
second or even first. The Canucks are playing really well. I
Yeah.
mean, they're
They
15
are.
points ahead of the Oilers, which I don't think anyone expected that.
No.
but I do think that this is, I don't know if it's the final Infinity Stone for Stanley Cup, but I do think the
No.
Oilers should make the playoffs
It's definitely one
after
piece.
this signing.
One
Yeah.
piece. It is definitely one piece, and it's a good addition for them. Yeah, like you said, he is a pest, and I think he's one of those players that you want on your team, but if you're playing against him, he's a pain in your ass. It's like Brad
Yeah.
Marchand, Matthew Tkachuk. Like he's just one of those players, and he gets in the other team's head. Sometimes in your own team's head. Hopefully, he stops doing that. But um, yeah, we'll see where it goes. I think I'm kind of excited to see what happens with him. I hope he got all the treatment he needs, whatever was going on with him. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Dude, the one thing that's crazy about that all is just like, I don't know who started that rumor about Bedard, but that's shitty. That's
dude.
bad. I know we've talked about that's
Yeah,
bad luck for Connor Bedard just in his rookie season. Kind of
yeah.
that overshines it all.
He's had a crazy
But
rookie season.
whoever the hell did started that rumor is an asshole, dude. Like
I know.
those
I literally
people.
think it was a Twitter. I think it was a Twitter user, and all of the internet took to storm with it. And when the internet takes a hold of that or any kind of rumor, it's usually game over. Um,
Yeah. Oh
in terms of
my goodness.
dispelling that and like people, it's gonna like we're gonna joke about it in 5 years. That maybe not joke about it, but we're gonna be talking about it for the next couple of years, or be like, oh, remember when Corey Perry? And that's the sad thing is like everyone's gonna remember that and not what actually happened.
Yeah.
Um,
100%. I think it's gonna overshine Bedard for a while. I mean, I
yeah,
think a lot of people get upset when people bring it up, but internet
yeah,
trolls. I mean, it's still
yeah.
in the comment
It
section.
happens.
Anything about
It is.
Bedard,
Yeah,
there's gonna be Corey Perry and his mom in there. So
yeah.
it's
That's
probably
right.
gonna follow him for a while. But yeah, that's a tough break for Bedard C, dude.
It is. I feel for him. But yeah, we'll get into him a little bit later. We have some stuff we're gonna talk about. But before that, Austin Matthews, someone we haven't really talked about a whole lot, I feel like, in this podcast this year at least. We've mentioned him here and there, but he's been lighting up the league in goals, especially. He's got 38 goals at this point in the season. And what, they're 43 or 44 games in now. Um, on pace for 70 goals,
Yeah.
which is crazy because Ovechkin has the record for most goals in the 21st century. So that goal mark is 65. Do you think he has the possibility to break that 21st century record of goals?
Well, I'll just say 38 points right now in
Goals.
how many games? 45? Or
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, 30 for
38
38.
goals.
So 38 goals in 45 games. I mean, that's an insane pace.
Yeah.
I think he's going to beat Ovi or not Ovi's. Yeah, Ovi's 21st century single season record. I
Yeah.
think he should if he stays
Yep.
healthy. He's definitely on pace for it. He's ripping it. Like he's going to get to 50 goals by fucking March probably.
Yeah. Probably
So
after a
that's
little bit after the All-Star break.
yeah, which is
Oh,
that's fucking nuts though.
okay, after this, I wanna talk about that really quick. About the All-Star. We got announced, like, the team captains and stuff, like celebrities. I'll talk about
Mhm.
that. But, yeah, I think he has a chance to break that. What, McDavid had 64 last year, so
Yeah,
he
I
was
was gonna
only
say honorable mention to McDavid, one
Yeah,
goal off of fucking
yeah,
Ovi's record. I'm sure he's pissed about that.
yeah,
I mean, it's weird even calling it a record because there's players in the freaking 80s,
yeah,
90s that would just blow 70 goals like
yeah.
out of the water.
Gretzky especially, yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean Gretzky, Lemieux. I think Lemieux
Yep.
scored over 80 goals 2 or 3
Mhm.
times. Um, shit, if Lemieux didn't get injured, halfway through his season or halfway through his career, he probably would be
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
close up there with that
Oh,
goal
yeah.
all-time goal record,
Mhm.
let alone maybe possibly even points.
Yeah.
Um, Lemieux is
He's
unbelievable player,
he
and I
was. He
still
kinda
can't
he
believe
gets
he.
forgotten because of that, I feel like.
Yeah, I still can't. I mean, there's some pretty cool stories we could tell about Lemieux. I still
Yeah.
can't believe he came back from Hodgkin's lymphoma and still
Yeah.
won the scoring title with like
Yeah.
60 games played or some shit
Mhm.
like that. Like that's just like an unbelievable feat for any sports player. But I mean, going back to Austin Matthews, I think he has it in him. I think he's
Mhm.
driven to get to that 70 mark. Um, but I know it's a little premature to ask this, and I know Ovi is kind of like on the route to beat
Yeah.
Gretzky's all-time record for goals, but I mean, do you think that Matthews has a chance to break that all-time record? Because, right now, he's currently on pace. If he plays, around 1,400 games, which is about 17 seasons in the league, which is not, it's not impossible for a player
No.
of his caliber and a superstar
Yeah.
player, not let alone like a goal scorer. Um,
Yeah.
do you think that he could, potentially break that record?
I mean, what's his pace through 1,400 games?
Like 898 goals? I
Yeah.
like,
I
did
think
did the math, I think he's at 0.64 goals per game right now.
yeah, I think
Um,
if that's the pace, yes. And so I saw or looked into this, I did the math. Um, so Austin Matthews, he's got 525 games played, and in Ovi's first 536 games played, he had 301 goals. Matthews right now with 525 games played, he's got 37 goals. Or sorry, he's got 337 goals. So he's ahead of Ovi in his situation by 37 goals, which is pretty much this season, really. Um, so I think we can see it. I mean, I'm kind of shocked that it's taken this long. Well, actually, not really, because I guess when what Ovi entered the league, that was what 2004, 2005.
mhm,
Gretzky had retired by 1999. So
yeah.
I mean, we kind of
I
saw this coming.
I will say with Ovi, he did miss a season because of the lockout and kinda had a
Oh yeah,
shortened season in
he did.
2012, 2013. Because like you said, he would've his first
Yeah,
year would have been 2004-05, and there was the
that's
full
true.
season lockout, so,
Yeah,
I mean, potentially, he could be at that record
yeah,
mark right now. I
that
mean,
is true.
especially holy shit. When Ovi around 2005 was fucking scoring 50 plus goals,
Yeah.
I mean, as
Well,
a
he got that
18,
65
19-year-old. Yeah.
that 65 goal season was one of his first like 4 seasons. So
Yeah. '08, I think it was '08, '09,
yeah,
which is that's bonkers. I mean, fucking A, he was like 22, I
yeah,
think. Like,
damn near our age. Wow. Well, maybe
yeah.
not now.
S
Fuck. But
yeah, just
yeah,
lighting up the league, which I feel like Ovi would have been at that without the
yeah,
lockout seasons, and I
yeah,
I always see people bringing that up. But yeah, I do truly think that that would make a big difference for that, but I mean, as long as Matthews doesn't get any lockout seasons, major injuries, I think he should break that. He's gonna
yeah,
go down, if he breaks that, he's gonna go down as one of the best players ever to play, but
yeah.
by far the best American to play.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's already up there for
He's
one of
already
the
yeah,
best Americans.
he's already got unless I mean Patrick Kane I think is number 1 at the moment.
Yeah,
Um, but he definitely has the time and skill to definitely get ahead of him in points. It's just I think it's really staying healthy. That's the biggest thing. I mean,
yeah.
look at we just talked about Mario Lemieux and how that kind of tainted his success in a sense. Like I think he probably would come close to Gretzky or at least Gordie Howe or I don't know, someone in points. Um, I don't know where he's at on the leaderboard. It's pretty high, I think. I know he's top 10 at least.
Who are you saying, Lemieux or?
Yeah, Lemieux career points.
Yeah, Lemieux is top 10, and he doesn't
Yeah,
even have 1,000 games played, which is
exactly.
insane. Like,
So
he's
if
got
he
900
did,
something.
yeah,
Yeah, if he had as many games played as Gretzky, I mean, there's
who
a good
knows?
chance he would be up there.
Yeah,
And it was crazy
maybe
Lemieux
top
is
10 is a
playing
great one.
I mean, Lemieux is playing excellent into the 2000s. I'm not saying Gretzky slowed down. I mean, he sort of
Yeah,
slowed
yeah,
down towards the end of the 90s, but,
yeah,
I mean, Lemieux playing at that elite status in 2001, 2002 as, late 30-year-old, after all his career struggles, whether that was injuries, diseases, all sorts of shit. I mean, it's pretty crazy, and it's I think it's an unbelievable feat and one of the craziest thing that's happened within the sport of hockey, but I think all sports in general. I think it's overlooked by a lot of other interesting stories within sports, but that one is like unfucking believable.
yeah,
He was able to do all that he did, and let alone save the franchise of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He literally bought the Pittsburgh Penguins from
yep,
from being bankrupt, which is like, oh, it's like out of a movie,
yeah,
straight up.
yeah. No, it is. Um, well, yeah. Before we move on, I want to talk about this with the All Star. We talked a little bit of All Star last week. If I can get this picture to actually be bigger, there we go. Um, open up. There we go. I'm going to share my screen here, but right now, I'm saying this. I'm jumping on Nathan McKinnon's team for the All Star game because his captain or his team celebrity captain is Tate McRae. Um, she is my favorite person of all time. Um, but they're going to be so Austin Matthews and Justin Bieber, which I think is awesome. Connor McDavid, Will Arnett. Yeah, I think Michael Bublé is awesome actually, with the Hughes brothers being captains, which is also fucking cool. Then Nate Mack and Tate McRae. That is my team I'm rooting for. I want them to win it all. Um, I love Tate.
Tate McRae, dude. She's fucking isn't she a TikToker?
No, she's a singer.
Oh, she is? Oh
Yeah,
my
she's
god,
from
sorry.
Calgary
Sorry.
too. She's a Flame.
Hey, sorry. I know. I do
Yeah,
know that. And I think
yeah,
that's fucking awesome that she's a
yeah,
Flames fan. So actually, I'd probably say, I'm on that same train.
yeah,
Just because she's from Calgary and she's a Flames
yeah,
fan.
yeah,
I'd say I'd probably root for that all-star team.
yeah.
But
I think what?
I do kind of like both of the Hughes brothers
Yeah, I like this
being
this setup.
being captains just because like both Quinn and Jack are, I think they have personalities, but they're a little bit
Yeah,
awkward when it comes to interviewing and stuff. And
yeah,
just throwing
yeah,
them as like team captains is going to be hilarious
yeah.
because it's going to
No, I
kind of
agree.
they're kind of going to get pushed to the limit to be funny and
Yeah,
kind of have their personality shine a little bit more,
yeah,
which I'm excited for that. But holy shit,
yeah. No,
dude,
I am
Tate
too.
McRae is 20 years old. Think about being a
Yeah,
20-year-old whatever singer songwriter
yeah,
and you're a co-captain in the
yeah.
NHL
The
All-Star
NHL,
draft. Like
crazy. She's
that's
kind of blown up this year. I feel like, but yeah, he's my love. If you see this tape up there, I love you. Um, Shooting my shot. I know a lot of NHL players. I think she dated what's his name, Cole Sillinger from what's it called, the Blue Jackets,
yeah.
which tells us all people were like Tate McRae made it to the All Star game before Cole Sillinger. Was funny. Um, but yeah, I think it's cool that they're doing the celebrity thing. I think it brings more people to watch it. If you're a Tate McRae fan, like you're a girl, you're probably gonna watch that. If you're a Tate McRae fan and you're a girl, you're probably gonna watch the All Star game. And if you're a Tate McRae fan and a man, you're definitely gonna watch that All Star game. So he's like this guy right here. Um,
I think it's
but
sweet that they're
yeah,
having
no, I agree.
celebrities in it. I think it's gonna definitely bring some more
Justin
viewers
Bieber
to
too.
the All-Star. Yeah. Oh yeah. Biebs
He's
being in
massive.
it is
Yeah,
he's one of the biggest fucking superstars of the
yeah,
21st century. So
yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of people just watching for that.
I wanted to
Um
see the lead singer Nickelback be Connor McDavid's team captain because I know that man loves Nickelback.
yeah, that'd be
Um,
fucking sweet.
be hilarious. But all right, we're gonna get into looking at what we said the beginning of the season about um our war predictions that we gave in the beginning of the season. We're gonna look at them now, see how they're doing, and see how right we were or how wrong we were. So, first one up, let's see here. We're gonna go into the Calder Trophy predictions because this kind of goes into kind of what we already wanted to talk about with Bedard. Um, Over the last couple days, I think it was Monday even, or maybe Sunday, but the Blackhawks said that Bedard is going to be out another 6 weeks. So I have a feeling that he's probably not going to win that Calder Trophy. It's going to be really tough for him. Um, I don't know. I think uh, it's not far fetched though. I mean, I think the NHL is going to want to favor him. So we'll see. But Galli, you had said that he was going to get 100 points.
Yeah, yeah, bad prediction right there.
Yeah,
Just with all the injuries, I mean, he wasn't really on pace for 100. I think he was on pace for a point per game at most.
yeah, at least.
Um, which is still excellent as a
Yeah,
rookie.
yeah,
It's not, especially on a poor, I mean, not a very good team too.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, I think we did pretty good with our division predictions somewhat last week. But
yeah,
going into our award ones, this was a tough one for both of us because I think we both picked Connor Bedard. for
We
this one.
did, but we also didn't know that he was gonna get a broken jaw and be out almost 10, 12 weeks, so I'm gonna
Hey,
give us
those
a
are
pass
things
on
to
that
take into
because
consideration, though. Those are
that is
some things
true.
to take into consideration.
Yeah, but you can't tell that he's gonna get hurt, so I
Yeah,
don't know. I first half, I think we had it as a lock that he was gonna win Calder, but now,
yeah.
who would you say would be your favorite for Calder? We kinda talked about this last week, but
Yeah, I know we talked about this last week. No bias here. Connor Zary, I think he's a dark horse for the Calder Trophy. Right now, he's got second most points per game for rookies in the league. He's got 22 points, which is only 5 points behind the second place. Who,
okay.
as long as Bedard doesn't somehow get the most points,
Yeah,
like that would be an absolute shit season for all the
yeah,
rookies if they couldn't pass him. Because
yeah.
I think second place is only 5 or
5,
6
yeah,
points now
yeah,
behind Bedard, so they should surpass him. But
yeah,
really, fingers crossed that the Flames and Connor's area are going to have a really good second half of the season. And it would be so sweet to see Connor's area just break out and
yeah.
become that leader. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, that's my pick. It's a little bit of a dark horse. I think a safer pick would say
Unbiased
Luke
pick, yeah.
Hughes. Yeah, I'd say a safer pick would probably be Luke Hughes. I'm gonna
Yeah,
stay with my Connor
yeah,
Zary pick, but
keep it with it.
Luke Hughes, I could see him winning it just because the league loves a Hughes, and I think it would go really well as an alternate story compared to their original story of Bedard winning Calder.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
agree.
who do you think though?
So, this one, my pick, I feel like is I don't know, it's a little, like, weak just because he's 2nd in points right now, but I do think Brock Faber is my favorite now. He's got 27 points, he's tied for 2nd, so he's only 5 points behind, Bedard, and he also has the most assists by a rookie, though. He's got 24 assists. He's also a defenseman, though. So, I don't know, I don't see that we have a whole lot of, like, high-scoring defensemen. I mean, Cale Makar, I guess when he's young, but, uh, what is it? The Wild have both Brock Faber and I think Marco Rossi too, who have they're both tied for 2nd in points, which is kinda crazy that the Wild have that, but,
Yeah,
I don't know, I think as a defenseman, that stat's just a little bit more impressive to be leading the league in assists by rookies. Um, so I think it's a good year for rookies, I think. Good to look ahead with all these kids coming up, and I think, uh, one of the picks I had said that wasn't Bedard was maybe, like, Logan Cooley, I think, and he's not been crazy, but he has been a good player, and he's putting up some good points as a rookie, but I don't think he's in the conversation yet for Calder. Um, and who knows? There's still a lot of hockey to be played, but I'm gonna put Brock Faber as my favorite.
yeah, I think that's a really good pick, and I've been seeing a
Yeah,
lot of people putting that just because he's a defenseman. I mean, doing that as
yeah,
a rookie defenseman is pretty impressive.
yeah,
No disrespect to Marco Rossi, but when you're getting as many points as one of your best forwards, your best rookie forward, especially,
yeah,
that says a lot about what type of player you are. And
yeah,
um, yeah, it's going to be interesting what it comes down to, um, and who ultimately will get it. But yeah, like I said, points per game, if we're going off of points per game, Connor Zary is leading the league with
mhm,
Bedard out now for rookies. So
yeah. If he keeps
um,
it up,
I'm gonna I'm gonna stand
yeah,
by that, and I'm really fingers crossed that
yeah,
he turns it up a fucking notch
yeah.
and will take that Calder spot. That would be huge for him as just for his career path.
Yeah,
But
as
do
a
know a
rookie.
lot of people kind of discredit him because he's an older rookie compared to the other
Yeah,
ones that they have right now. But yeah, no, I mean, both those picks are decent for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Next one on here, the Hart Trophy, which is awarded to the most valuable player in the NHL. Not the most points. That's the Art Ross, but for the Hart Trophy, Galli, you had said it was Nathan McKinnon. Right now, I don't think that pick is far off at all. He's had a great season. I had kind of some worries for him in the beginning of the season, just knowing how much he does get hurt, um, how much or at least he's had an issue with that. So I was like, I don't know. I didn't really see it. But he's leading the league in points right now. He's lighting it up too.
Yeah,
I don't know how
no
many
doubt.
points he's ahead of who's number 2? Is it Brock
I think
Best? No.
I think Kucherov is
Oh,
number 2, and
Gooch.
I think he's got 76. I think he's only a point ahead of Kucherov.
Yeah.
Um, but
Kucherov's
I do
another.
think that he's gonna have to extend his point gap quite a bit
Yeah.
and kind of or out Austin Matthews is gonna have to go downhill because I think it's just gonna be so hard for, the award committee to give that to McKinnon over Matthews just because McKinnon
Yeah.
had more points.
Mhm.
Um, However, say the Leafs miss the playoffs and the Avs go back on a deep
Yeah.
run. I think that could definitely be another argument for McKinnon. So
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with my McKinnon pick. Um, and I mean, he's having a hell of a year. I have him on my fantasy team. He's kicking ass, getting me a lot of points. So I'm
Yeah.
sticking with McKinnon, and I'm stoked I made the prediction at the beginning of the season. It was
Yeah.
better than my Calder one, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think the MVP is so tough to pick because I don't know, I know some people don't like it when you take into account the postseason because it is the regular season MVP, but it also should like there's a separate award for Stanley Cup MVP, but
Yeah,
it does play a factor, I feel like, if your team
oh,
makes the playoffs or
100%.
not, how much of an MVP you really are, how valuable you are to a team, which is such a weird term to use, like how valuable, because I feel like a lot of the superstars, like you could make an argument that McDavid could still be the MVP
Yeah,
for the Oilers. Like, I mean, he is definitely someone that's keeping them in the playoff hunt um, at this point. Obviously, he's got good teammates too, but I don't know. You could say a lot of people. So tough award, but we'll see how that does at the end of the year. Um, Next one, this is one of our worst ones.
yeah.
The Vezina Trophy. I picked uh, Jake Ottinger, and right now he's sitting at 29th in save percentage, 16th in wins, which is not great. Um, I don't know. I thought he'd have a better season. The Stars aren't doing horrible,
hmm
um, so it's not like he's doing bad. But um, Galli, yours was Markstrom, another unbiased pick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not too bad. He's sitting
No,
in the top
it's
10 for
he is.
he's sitting in
Yeah.
the top 10 for save percentage. I think he's top 15 for goals against. I think if he really I mean, both my Calder pick or my new Calder pick and my Vezina pick, it's gonna just have to determine, or it's gonna have to rely on the Flames just like having a
Yeah.
kick ass second half of their season, which
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
doubtful in a lot of people's minds, but like to be that
Understandable.
optimistic Flames fan,
Yeah.
and if he does have an excellent second half of the year, he could be a really prime candidate for that Vezina. But he's gonna have to. I mean, it's gonna be hard to knock off Hellebuck because Hellebuck is playing lights out
Yeah.
for the
He's
Jets.
my pick for or he's
Um,
my new pick for
yeah,
Vesna. I think he's just a
yeah, I'd
great
say
team.
he's one of the favorites right now.
Yeah.
Um, I think Demko too. You could throw in there in
Mhm.
that conversation. I mean, both those goalies have been behind very good teams and talented teams, but they're able to carry their weight. I mean, no offense to the Oilers goaltending squad, but they're not able to do that as much. And I think when you have a really good team ahead of you, you have a lot of pressure to play well
Yeah.
as a goalie, and some people can really thrive in that when there's a good team ahead of them, but some people or some goalies, don't. So
Yeah.
it is impressive. Both Demko and Hellbuck are finding that success with those good teams, and both the Jets and the Canucks are on a tear this season. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'll go with Demko just to be someone different as my new
Yeah.
pick. I think the Canucks are going to continue to have success, but I would be very surprised to see the Jets continue what they're doing. I'm still
Yeah.
surprised that that's
I
happening. I
am
think
too.
everyone is.
Yeah.
Um, I want my heart says stick with Markstrom, but it's going to be a long, long shot for him
Yeah.
to win Vezina right
Yeah.
now. And he's playing good hockey. Don't get me wrong. He's
He
playing
is.
very good
Yeah.
hockey, doing good shit for the Flames. He is injured right now, which kind of sucks, and that could kind of follow him throughout the rest of the year. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in between. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
know. I
No,
think
that's fair.
yeah, Markstrom probably is going to be my pick still, but Demko is probably my safe bet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Our next one, the Maurice Richard Trophy. This one we had a lock in the beginning of the season. This is our best pick. We both picked Austin Matthews. Obviously, he's 38 goals. He's 4 goals ahead of Sam Reinhart, who's in second. Which isn't a super huge gap. Impressive. Honestly, we haven't talked about him at all, really, Sam Reinhart, but
Yeah,
he's had a great
not at
season.
all.
He's had a great season, and no disrespect to him, but I really did not think he'd be this close, or that anyone would really be this close to Austin Matthews.
Yeah,
Maybe McDavid if he could have a good start to the season, but Sam Reinhart being second, honestly, hats off to him because I know he's kind of had a
yeah,
um, I don't know, rough start to his career. Um, Not really having a whole lot of success. He was a top 2 pick, I think, out in
yeah,
Buffalo. And Buffalo has just been a struggle bus the last 20 years. So feel for them. So we're gonna stick with Austin Matthews. Talked about him a
yeah.
little bit earlier too.
Speaking of Reinhardt, Reinhardt's on pace for 61 goals right now, which is
Holy
like,
shit. I did not know
yeah,
that.
that would be insane. That would be
Yeah.
so insane. I mean, I
Good for
wish
him.
I really wish I know the NBA does it, but it would be sick if the NHL did like comeback player of the year or most
Oh
improved player
yeah.
of the year.
Most
I
improved.
think that
Yeah.
would be like a sweet award for the NHL to hand out.
Yeah.
Um, it would just be interesting, but also that's kind
Yeah.
of like it's so kind of a weird award still.
Yeah. It's kinda, unless it's like really obvious in a season, it could kind of be a little bit like, really?
Yeah,
Like I didn't do that bad last year. Like,
yeah,
you know.
definitely.
Um, but yeah. Last one on here. We didn't do any Art Ross, but our last one is the Norris. I picked Cale McCarr. He's second right now in points, so it's not looking too hot or not looking too off. Uh, Galli, you picked Rasmus Dahlin, which, in your defense, I think everyone thought that Buffalo was going to have a better season than they have
Yeah.
been. So it just kind of sucks and is unfortunate for them to have a great defenseman like Rasmus Dahlin is. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think it's just unfortunate. But the shocker, I think, for all of us was Quinn Hughes lighting it up as much as he is. Um, he's first in points and in plus minus, which is a really important stat, I feel like, for defenders, is your plus minus.
Yeah.
It just shows, how good you are defensively and how many goals you're on the ice for or against. Um, but my McCarr pick still isn't totally off. Um, I like Quinn Hughes, so it's hard not to jump on his bandwagon and be like, I want him to win the Norris because I do. I think it'd be
Hmm.
cool to see someone like that who's never really been in the conversation, especially to get that pick.
Yeah.
Um, where McCarr is obviously has been for the last 3-4 years, been in the discussion. Um, but yeah, I think it'd be cool to see Quinn Hughes
Yeah.
win.
No, I think McCarr is not too far back, but it is Quinn Hughes to lose this trophy. So
Yeah,
as long as he doesn't get hurt and keeps it up, he should win.
he's got
Because I
that.
don't
Yeah.
he hasn't won once yet. I know McCarr
Mm-mm.
has.
McCarr
So
has.
um I could definitely see that going to Quinn Hughes unless McCarr goes crazy at the
Yeah,
end of the season, which is not out of the cards either. But
that is true.
yeah, I'd say Quinn Hughes is probably favorable to win the Norris.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. Well, that pretty much wraps it up, and we are good on time right now, so that is good. Um, but let's see. Let's look ahead. How many weeks do we got till? I think we got 2 weeks until All-Star break. Yeah, right. Oh yeah, All-Star weekend's not this weekend, but next weekend. So we'll have a show next week, maybe about All-Star, more into it, maybe because we kind of talked about it last week. But um, maybe we do something that's on the weekend. Be kind of tough to do like a live show or something. But yeah, do you have any closing remarks or any games you watched that made you, I don't know, put your hands up?
Um, yeah, I would be super down to do something for the All-Star game. I think
Yeah,
that would be pretty sick. But yeah, I just go Flames, but they fucking disappointed me tonight. They blew a 3-2 lead going into the third period, and they lost 4-3 to the Blues, the St. Louis Blues. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not looking too hot for the Calgary Flames right now, and that,
Yeah.
that definitely disappoints me a little bit. They're in a tough spot, just roster wise, cap wise. So, uh, I, I mean, at this point in the season, I hope the Flames they got to pick a direction. I,
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. So I think they should start selling some of their players. I think they could get a lot for Lindholm
Yeah.
because these players are going to walk. I think in the offseason if they get a chance to. I think they sold Lindholm. I mean, even at most, if they sold Markstrom would get a lot of value right now. I think Chris
He would.
Tanev too. So there's a lot of good pieces the Flames could trade away to be smart for the future.
Mhm.
But knowing the Flames ownership and management, probably not going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the trend of the Flames in the past, and I would be very happy to be surprised. I think a lot of Flames fans would be. But yeah, that's my Flames rant for the day. I think I probably have one every few hours. I could I could fucking go on
Yeah.
hours on end about the fucking Flames management, their cap problems, their fucking players underachieving. Don't even get
You
me
know what we
started.
should
But
do? We should do I'm not in it, just you're full screen, and you just fucking rant for 30 minutes. We put that out there, just say, "You know what? This is a Flames rant," and Allie's just gonna pour his heart out, and you're just gonna talk to yourself, to the camera for 30 minutes about what
I
upset you. That would be
yeah,
fun.
I think trade deadline. I think that would be a good time
Yeah,
around when to do that, or
yeah,
postseason.
yeah,
If they don't make the playoffs, I think
yeah,
that would
yeah,
fucking be
yeah,
livid.
yeah,
Um, it's not looking too hot, so I don't know if they're gonna make the playoffs. I just hope that
yeah.
their management is smart.
Mhm.
But yeah, enough Flames rants for right now. I do appreciate everyone that's listening to this, and
Yeah, yeah, again, if
yeah,
you're at this point, we
thank
say
you
it
so much.
every episode. If you guys are listening to us at this point are rambling and talking about hockey, um, appreciate it. Give us a follow. Forgot to mention in the beginning, but again, go follow our Spotify. It's officially up now. It's Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music as well, and then our YouTube too. Um, if you're curious about any of those links, they're down in the description. You can find those. Go there. Follow us on everything. Let us know. Leave a comment too, so we know what we're doing well, what we could work on. Um, and yeah, guys, just go watch some hockey. It's good for the soul.
Play some hockey too. Get
Oh yeah,
out there.
play some hockey. It's getting cold out, so you can probably do some what's called some outdoor pond hockey, which we should go. There's a place in Cascade that has like an outdoor rink, and it's pretty sick.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
outdoor hockey, man. The last time I played it, I was on a frozen river in Montana,
Mm.
in
Hell yeah.
December.
Yeah.
Or no, beginning of January, pardon me. But it
Yeah.
was a little sketch to be skating on a river, not gonna lie. I'm
Yeah.
used to lakes and ponds, but a river,
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck, if I fall in, I'm gonna be swept with the current."
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, be safe out there if you're gonna go play some outdoor.
Yeah.
It was really cold
Hockey
last week,
ice.
but now it's warming up now. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you again to all of our listeners. Really
Yep.
appreciate you guys, and um, hey, it's we're gonna keep getting better and better. So
Mhm. The season, I think our episodes are only going to get better as the season progresses because I think after All-Star break, that's when that shit starts to get real. Teams are actually hunting for the
100%.
playoffs. They're like, shit, we got to get rid of this guy for that guy. They start seeing where they're sitting in the standings and they're like, we don't like this. We need to be higher. So as the season goes, I mean, I think this is one of our better episodes. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff in there. So yeah, guys, we will catch you on the next one. And again, if you have any questions, want us to answer any of your questions, we can throw it to you guys, put it in the comments. We'll talk about it. Um, and yeah, you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys next week.